Ireland Baldwin is making headlines again, but this time it's not for controversy, not for a shocking revelation, and not even for her own personal life, but for how she reacted to a moment that nobody really expected. A moment that quietly said a lot more than words ever could. And at the center of it all is a birthday message. A simple birthday shout-out from Kim Basinger to Alec Baldwin, two people whose history is anything but simple. Because when Kim Basinger wished Alec Baldwin a happy birthday in April 2026, it wasn't just another celebrity post. It was something that instantly caught attention, not because of what was said, but because of who said it and who reacted to it. And that's where Ireland Baldwin comes in. Ireland didn't explode with a dramatic statement. She didn't go on a rant. She didn't even try to turn the moment into something bigger than it was. But her reaction, quiet, subtle, and incredibly telling, sparked a wave of conversation online. Because when you understand the history behind this family, even the smallest gesture can feel huge. To really understand why this moment matters, you have to go back to the 1990s, when Kim Basinger and Alec Baldwin were one of Hollywood's most talked about couples. They met, they fell in love, and they quickly became a power duo. By 1993, they were married, and not long after that, they welcomed their daughter Ireland into the world. On the outside, it looked like a perfect Hollywood story: fame, success, a growing family. But behind the scenes, things were far more complicated. By the early 2000s, their marriage had completely fallen apart. What followed wasn't just a breakup, it was a full-blown public battle. Their divorce in 2002 became one of the most talked about splits in Hollywood at the time. There were legal disputes, custody battles, and constant media attention. And right in the middle of it all was young Ireland. For years, the tension between Kim and Alec wasn't just rumored, it was visible. Interviews, court reports, and public statements painted a picture of two people who couldn't find common ground. And unfortunately, that tension spilled over into their relationship with their daughter. Then came 2007, the moment that changed everything. A voicemail from Alec Baldwin to Ireland was leaked to the public. In that message, he called his 11-year-old daughter a rude, thoughtless little pig. The audio went viral before going viral was even what it is today. It shocked people, it angered people, and it became one of the most defining moments in Alec Baldwin's public image. For Ireland, it was something much more personal. It wasn't just a headline, it was her life. As she grew older, Ireland didn't hide from that moment. In fact, she addressed it publicly years later, even using humor to cope with it. During a comedy roast, she joked about the voicemail, showing that she had found a way to process something that once caused so much pain. But jokes don't erase history, and healing doesn't happen overnight. Over time, though, things began to shift. Ireland and Alec slowly started rebuilding their relationship. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't a big public reconciliation, it was gradual, quiet, and real. Social media posts, interviews, and public appearances began to show a different dynamic, one that suggested growth, effort, and maybe even forgiveness. At the same time, Ireland was building her own identity. She wasn't just Alec Baldwin's daughter anymore. She stepped into modeling, acting, and eventually carved out her own voice online. She became known for being honest, unfiltered, and unapologetically herself. Then, in 2023, her life changed again. She became a mother. That moment added an entirely new layer to her story, because becoming a parent has a way of shifting your perspective. It changes how you see your own childhood. It changes how you understand your parents. And for Ireland, many fans believe it brought a deeper sense of empathy and reflection. So fast forward to April 2026. Kim Basinger posts a birthday message for Alec Baldwin. Now, on the surface, that might not sound like a big deal. Celebrities wish each other happy birthday all the time. But this isn't just any pair of exes. This is a couple with decades of complicated history. This is a relationship that once played out in courtrooms and headlines. So when Kim chose to publicly acknowledge Alec, and in a respectful, calm, and mature way, it immediately stood out. There was no sarcasm, No shade, no hidden meaning, just a simple message that recognized him, acknowledged the past in a subtle way, and wished him well. And then people started looking at Ireland, because in moments like this, her reaction matters more than anyone else's. And what did she do? She didn't create drama. She didn't criticize. She didn't try to pull attention toward herself. Instead, she responded in a way that felt peaceful. Whether it was a like, a short comment, or simply not opposing the moment, Ireland's reaction signaled something important. It suggested that this kind of interaction between her parents is no longer shocking to her, that maybe, behind the scenes, things have changed more than people realize. And the internet noticed immediately. Fans flooded social media with reactions. Some were surprised, some were emotional, and many were genuinely happy to see what looked like a healthier dynamic. People commented things like, "This is what growth looks like," and "Ireland's reaction says everything." Others pointed out how rare it is to see this kind of maturity between former couples, especially in Hollywood. Because, let's be honest, celebrity breakups don't usually end like this. They often turn into long-term feuds, subtle digs in interviews, social media shade. But this moment, it felt different. It felt like closure, or at least something close to it. And then there's Alec Baldwin himself. Over the past few years, Alec's life has been under intense public scrutiny. The tragic incident on the set of Rust in 2021 changed everything. It brought legal challenges, public criticism, and constant media attention. So in moments like that, public perception can become overwhelming. Every action is analyzed. Every statement is judged. So when something like this happens, when someone from his past, especially someone like Kim Basinger, publicly shows a moment of kindness, it adds a different dimension to the narrative. It humanizes things. It reminds people that beyond the headlines, there are real relationships, real histories, and real attempts at moving forward. And Ireland's reaction ties it all together because she represents the bridge between the past and the present. She's the one who lived through the tension, who experienced the fallout, and who now seems to be standing in a place of understanding. And maybe that's why her response resonated so much. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it felt real. It felt like the kind of reaction that only comes from someone who has done the work, emotionally, mentally, and personally. And that's something people connect with. Because at the end of the day, this story isn't just about a birthday post. It's about growth. It's about time. It's about how even the most complicated relationships can evolve. And it's about how sometimes the biggest statements are made in the quietest ways. Now, whether this moment marks a permanent shift in the Baldwin family dynamic or just a brief glimpse of peace, we don't know. But what we do know is this. People are paying attention, and for once, they're not watching for drama. They're watching for something better. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.